What's up, guys, and welcome back to Discraft's 2022 Big Rep Classic presented by Ledgestone Open. We're bringing you chase card coverage. This is round 3, the back 9. We had some pretty good golf in the front 9. If you did not see it, please go back and watch it. Our players are going to be tackling some pretty open and windy holes. This is hole 10. It's a downhill island hole. It's not that far. It's only 260 feet, but it is surrounded by OB, obviously. Our players are going to be facing some wind coming off the lake, but once you crest the hill, it shouldn't affect your disc too much. I would imagine this forehand is going to be pretty wide to negate that.
Yeah, Josh always throws his forehand route. He keeps it really low, pushes it a little long there. He may have found the OB. He's asking if it's safe.
Yeah, our catch cam didn't show us the angle, but Josh was asking him, and I guess we'll find out shortly whether he's at the drop zone.
Yeah, judging by his reaction, I think he stayed in bounds. Scott opting for the backhand, playing into the wind. Gets the disc to fight down. Alex here looking like maybe a zone. Puts it under the basket.
Exactly what you want to do on this hole.
Kenny looking to see if the wind's going to die down anytime soon. It's not really too bad on this hole if you know that the wind's blowing, but any kind of change in wind can really throw your disc offline. Keeps it low, it's kind of pushing left. It checks up though, really nice. All 4 of our guys hitting the island, I believe.
You have no drop zone, so Josh did stay in bounds.
Kenny just outside of the circle, it looks like. Seems like he has a little bit of an awkward footing. That's no problem for him.
Yeah, he's pretty accurate with those little jumpers or steppers right outside the circle. We've seen him hit a few of those. We had the pleasure of watching his round in the second as well.
Josh able to get a little relief off that OB line, puts him a little closer to the basket. Picking up right where he left off in the front 9. He's really been hot on the green.
Yeah, good fist pump there, running it in. He's keeping the
pace. Scott here also was hot in the front 9. I believe he only had one putt, which was an awkward one that he missed.
There's that smooth spin putt. I mean, he looks like he barely even tries, and it just rips out of his hand.
Yeah, I need to ask him how he does it. And Alex, no time at all, just tap in his 2. So we have a star frame here on hole 10. Good way to start off the back 9. Moving into hole 11, par 4, 640 feet. Got OB right, hillside kind of left. And really players are probably trying to mash this as far as possible. Josh putting it a little wide. Hopefully that disc is overstable enough to miss the OB. And plays it almost as perfect as you can. And you really don't have to bite off as much as you can. You really just want to place it down there and give yourself an upshot. Scott looking to lay up, electing to lay up short of the OB, given the distance on the upshot.
Yeah, but I like that play. He's just securing good footing. When you lay up to that spot, you're guaranteed solid ground for your upshot and approach. Alex slamming it into the hillside.
Yeah, I guess that layup play, it all depends on how you're feeling, or
what you're comfortable with.
Right, or you've had 2 rounds, so maybe you've made the mistake of throwing it into the OB and you don't even want to take that. Kenny placing it down in the middle as well. Scott giving it a little flex. Looks like it's overstable enough to get all the way up on the hillside. No problem for him.
Yeah, good approach from where he was. As he was the farthest out, he capitalizes.
Kenny looking to follow suit. Maybe fights into the pine limbs and unfortunately doesn't fight all the way through. He'll have an outside the circle look. You can see here Alex selecting for the backhand on the slope. Hopefully doesn't turn this over too much and throws the hyzer well. But same result as Kenny. Hits the tree and rolls back to probably outside the circle.
Josh just confirming his distance as he goes with the forehand approach, just swinging around that tree that rejected our last two players.
And that's routine for Josh there. He's got it dialed in. That forehand 300, 350 feet is no problem for him.
Very good tool to have in the tool bag.
Kenny here probably doing another stepper. Never gave that one a chance. And as you can tell from his reaction, he wanted to get that higher. We have a stray competitor here. Oh, that's the caddy.
Yeah, if you really want to get this chain height, there's a hill behind the basket, preventing you from going too long. And obviously, Alex disappointed with that effort.
Yeah, he didn't listen to you. I don't know why he wouldn't, but yeah, Scott here, almost pin high. This is really a mash from that layup spot. Scott really showcasing his distance there. Taking his time, cashing in that 25-footer. And
that's a good way to play the hole.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't worried about what his competitors were doing. He stuck to his game plan, and it worked out. Taking the lone, or no, Josh also had a birdie.
I was about to say, Josh played it really well as well. Had no trouble on the green at all. This is in a hole 12, par 3, 360 feet. It's a downhill play. Some players like Josh will be playing this flex forehand line, but you'll probably see a lot of these guys just on a backhand mid or fairway down to that sewer top and trying not to scoot too far past the basket or hit any trees. I mean, you do have to get past those first. But and this looks like a good play if you can get around those. It looks like it goes through them.
Card thinking he's putting a run on the chains. He does end up in the rough on the right side, and it is pretty thick over there. We'll see what he ends up with for his birdie look.
Interesting, Scott going with a forehand as well. He's definitely got it. It might be a little too far right. Oh, and it fights through the rough. That's not something you typically see.
Here's that backhand line.
A little overcooked.
Oh my God. You might have a great look at it.
Competitor's really impressed by the shot, getting all the way down. He might even have a look back up from the backside. Yeah. The path to hole 13.
not the way he drew it up, but it may work out for him if he can capitalize on the good break.
Kenny gets the height correct this round, but doesn't quite get around that tree. That'll probably be a layup for him.
Yeah, it's a smooth putter.
A little high on that shot, but it looked like it crashed in and was not going fast enough to really do any damage. So this is Alex here.
Very fortunate. Very fortunate to be where he was. He could have very easily ended up out of bounds.
Also very fortunate for that to sit. It was on such a hyzer angle, I wasn't sure if it was going to roll back down. Josh showing you how rough this can be down here around the basket. You really hope your disc is clean coming in.
Yeah, as you can see, these guys are, pretty close to inside the circle, if not very far inside of it. And you saw a layup from one as Scott's just trying to get to his disc.
And he's probably trying to find the best footing to actually even give it a run. You'd hate to be, right there. I would say that's inside the circle and not have a look. We saw Logan in round 2 there around there for his par, and he had a turbo putt. So Scott with almost a chicken wing style putt, not able to find a gap. That'll be a disappointing par for him.
Looks like Kenny did push a bit long. His approach shot. Let's see if he can find a gap to convert on his par.
Yeah, he kind of crested that small hill right there. Should get him low enough to be able to get an angle to the basket without having to deal with any of the shrubbery. Maybe I was mistaken. He couldn't get it high enough. Little frustration there.
Yeah, obviously upset with himself.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's 2 missed putts in a row. We're on the back 9 of the final round. Players are making moves, and he knows he's got to keep up or keep the foot on the gas there.
Yeah, I've already fallen behind from his card mates, as this is the chase card that puts him farther away from the leaders. And that brings us into hole 13. Par 4, 566 feet. There's OB rough on the right side, OB road on the left, a little black creek between you and the basket. You'll see a lot of placement shots, just trying to progress up the fairway, land it in bounds, whether it's a forehand hyzer or forehand flex shot, as you see Josh do. More backhand hyzer. You just want to drop it in the middle of the fairway, whatever your best shot is for that, and have an upshot into the green. Well done there from Scott.
Expected to do something. We're just falling. I don't want it to. Funny though.
Hopefully the tall grass checks that up.
Yeah, we've seen that all tournament round, or all tournament long. This grass is pretty grabby on this hole. Kenny's going to show us the backhand line.
Needs to check up, and I believe it will do so with that grass. So yeah, Kenny with the long drive.
Yeah, if it's not a treacherous green, it is surrounded by OB around the basket, but you do have a pretty big landing zone. But being closer is obviously an advantage.
Yeah, Josh here, you have the disadvantage of the tall reeds being in your way, and it doesn't seem like it's too much of a problem for him. He puts it within circle one, probably about 20 feet. Scott here looking to do the same, puts it out wide enough. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well done from him.
And Alex here, he seems a little more guarded, not be able to throw the backhand.
Calling for it to go in. He does skip away from the basket and will have a little bit longer of a putt.
Kenny here really putting a move on the drive. Should be a very routine up and down from here. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no problem spiking it in right by the basket. Most of our competitors pretty close for their birdie putts. Alex just on the edge of the circle.
Yeah, he saw Kenny on that last shot, looking at the camera like, I'm really like that. Alex, unfortunately, not able to capitalize on his birdie look. But Josh is able to do so.
Josh really pulling away from most of the card.
Yeah, he has constantly played well at this tournament. It's interesting to actually see him as low as chase card. He was battling for the lead last year, and I believe was a past winner of this event as well. Kenny and Scott with their routine tap-ins for birdie. And that'll move us into hole 14. Hole 14 is a par 3, 346 feet. You got OB right, OB left, OB deep. You really just want to take whatever shot you can and put it dead straight and hit a putt on a slightly elevated basket. Josh, unfortunately, not getting a full flex on that forehand. A little scared of the road. It's interesting to see Scott here. He's more of a backhand dominant player. This may be hip issues.
There you go, turn it over.
But
He does it well.
oh
And
yeah.
it does play away from the OB. I mean, a mistake with the forehand, if you're early, you're not out of bounds. Whereas with a backhand, you're having to keep that thing turned the whole way. So I do like that shot, even though that may not be his, forte. He does it really well there.
Here, just not getting it up in the air enough.
Looks like he does get over the disc vortex.
Yeah, so he'll have a long look. Even Alex playing the forehand as well to, I guess, like you
Hold
said,
that
stay in
line.
bounds.
Skip.
Skip straight. He's probably circle's edge right there.
Yeah, if he's on the dance floor. Every stroke counts coming in, coming down the stretch here. So an OB early would be really costly. Maybe that's their plan, but Josh laying up, wanting none of it.
Yeah, he's already played really well this round. Don't want to really force anything, make a crucial mistake towards the end of the round. Kenny, he's wanting to make up some of the mistakes he's made in previous holes.
And there's that deadly jump putt again, just outside the circle. No fear of the slope behind and knocking that down. That was a really good putt.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd probably just throw it outside the circle every time. Alex actually did scoot up inside the circle, so he's got a probably 25-foot look off the cage, but goes in the basket.
Scott just almost made it out with a little creek ditch, but he's pretty close inside the circle.
Didn't quite connect on that. It's the first putt he's missed since hole 2, I believe.
Yeah, he's been on a good clip with his putts so far this round. One of his only missteps. That's going to give him a par as Josh taps in his par as well. That will bring us into hole 15. It's a very uphill par 3, 371 feet. You have OB left deep and OB road on your right. You're going to see a lot of guys throw this big hyzer over the road and out of bounds, swinging it in, and try and get their birdie.
You know, I just realized that this is the first round that we haven't had a guy throwing a tomahawk on 75% of the holes.
That's very true, especially on this hole. And Kenny riding the road, sneaking his way into the circle. I'm sure he's very happy with that result, not necessarily happy with his shot.
He's trying to play a little shuffleboard. Alex going a lot higher than Kenny. He doesn't like it. He needs to check up. Catches some tree branches, I believe, and stays in bounds. He was really worried about that one.
Yeah, but getting that high, I'm sure it caught a little bit of a crosswind. He was, as soon as he let go of it, we heard a, give it a little rewind if you want to hear exactly what he said, but he's happy that stayed in bounds.
Josh keeping a lower line, which is probably the better play. Straight driving. A little short of the pond. You want to typically get around that, but he'll have a look.
Yeah, he looks to be inside the circle. You're going to hear Scott see if he can follow suit.
Good overstable disc. Great disc choice. Even with the crosswind, the flex was the play for him, and didn't quite get up there, but he'll have a inside the circle look. Takes a lot of power to actually get up and maybe even past the basket.
And that's a good way to capitalize on a good break. He wasn't happy with his shot, and fortunately for him, it dug, and he took advantage of it with a really good birdie.
Kenny looking just to be outside the circle again. We might see another one of these patented step putt or jump putts that he's been cashing in all round.
Yep, doing like you said, riding the road just outside of the circle. I'm sure that's exactly where he wants it.
Yeah, that's probably exactly how he drew it up. Oh, just a little high though on the putt.
Yeah, if he wanted to run that in, I bet he was expecting a little bit of a drop from that tailwind. Not getting it.
Got Scott here just inside the circle, I believe. See if he can bounce back from the last hole. Coming down the stretch, putt nerves can definitely come into effect.
And again, there should have been a bit of a tailwind on that putt. Maybe dropping it just into the cage. He wasn't happy with it, obviously. Josh with a similar putt, maybe just a few feet closer. And I wanted to say cans it, but it just catches right side chains and rolls back to him just a little bit.
Yeah, I believe he thought that was in as well. You can tell by his reaction.
Kenny catching the opposite side, not able to make his comeback putt. Gonna take a bogey. And that's surprising after, we were just complimenting his putting. Having a great 2 rounds of putting so far. And 3 putting on hole 15 coming down the stretch, and unfortunately gonna take a bogey. Josh and Scott also taking a par, all getting big putted by Alex. And that'll wrap up hole 15. That brings us into hole 16. It's a shorter par 3, 279 feet. It's a bit uphill. You do have the OB road as always on your right. Rough on your left, and it's very thick. The basket is blind. You're going to see a lot of guys trying to throw something stable, maybe skip or slide around that corner.
Yeah, and Alex, they're not really getting the skip that he wanted. It kind of checked up instead, but he'll probably be just outside the circle. You really want that disc moving left, but you have to push it far enough first. And Josh just a little inside, but fortunate enough for that to kick out.
Yeah, but I bet that's what he was clapping for, is that he's not having to throw out of that rough. It could kick back into the fairway.
Scott here looking to make the correction from Josh's line. Gets a better skip than Alex. Still not quite in the pocket, but right there on the edge of it.
Kenny not happy with that, telling himself to come on. Just a little too straight. He should have an open look, maybe give it a long run, but it's not what you want on this hole, which is very gettable.
Yeah, this one, for being such a short hole, you would think it'd be one of the easier par 3s on the course, but it does have its challenges. Especially your third to last hole coming down the stretch, the final round. Seems like a must get that a lot of players don't.
Yeah, but I bet that puts more pressure on it. It's like a whole, like, I feel like I should get this. So it's almost, you know, it puts more pressure on it than you would normally have.
Yeah. He does give it a good run. He had like you said, he had a wide open look and just should have a tap in par. Alex here probably stepping it just a little low.
He really wanted to walk that one in, just barely catching the cage, not quite high enough. As we see Scott taking his putt from just inside the circle.
Yeah,
No problem.
Yeah, getting back on track with that putt. He's definitely looking to grab the last 3 on the course. Got to get the first one to get them all. So.
There's Kenny converting on his par. Alex and Josh right there to do the same. And that'll finish up hole 16. Bring us to hole 17. It's another par 3, this time downhill, about 340 feet. You have a gap, and for about 50% of the hole, there's a low ceiling as well. The basket just barely to the right. You'll see a lot of forehands on this hole.
Scott just pushing it a little too wide. You definitely want the disc to move from right to left first before finishing. Just to keep the disc as straight as possible, but Scott overturning it. Alex's forehand shapes perfectly well for this shot. It seems to catch a little bit, but that should be no problem for him. He's within 20 feet of the basket. Josh will probably keep this one pretty low. He likes to throw with a lot of hyzer.
Similar result to Alex, pretty close to him. As we see Kenny lining up his first forehand of the round.
High. shot and you just have to sneak through it. Kicks it straight down.
I almost said it got down, but
He's smiling, but obviously not too happy with that shot. Scott, pretty open approach. He's able to jump putt his disc. A really good layup. That's going to be a tap in par.
So we'll probably have Kenny up next. Josh just forgetting about Kenny's shot.
He's really eager to get to the finish line.
Yeah, he's
Only
very
one hole
focused
left.
right now. Needs to get down a little or in.
Oh, he was definitely running that the whole way. No layup in that at all.
But now Josh is able to go putt. Got the pine tree slightly in the way. Almost becomes a problem, but able to keep that in on the left side.
Yeah, basket giving him some love after doing him dirty on hole 15.
The basket giveth and the basket taketh away.
Very confident stroke there from Alex.
Look at Kenny here looking to just clean up his par. And Scott should have a headbanger tap in for par as well. A little frustration with that. That moves us into our final hole of the round, hole 18, par 4, 600 feet. You got OB right, OB road left. Most of these players are going to be throwing through this gap right here with a forehand or turning backhand.
nice shot.
Alex flexing or skipping off the road, putting in a prime position. You really can't ask for much better of a drive.
Nope, making the spotters dodge the disc down the fairway.
Josh looking to follow that up with a very similar shot, I'm sure. Not quite as aggressive, just trying to stay in bounds the whole way. He's had a good round thus far, doesn't want to make any mistakes on the final hole.
Go.
Just that needs to knife down.
Where's the flag? Oh, they don't know?
Can't see what flag he's got. But that did look a bit early. I wouldn't be surprised if he did leak out of bounds.
Kenny here will probably be opting for the backhand.
That's a good move, but it kind of burns over. Let's see if it can stay out.
All right.
Green flag.
Yeah, at that point, he probably wants the disc to cut roll back in. It was turning pretty hard. At least that looks like Scott is inbounds, maybe. He would
Yeah, barely. If he is, it's by a couple blades of grass.
What's a decent move on it? A little short, but
Looks to be inside the circle. Whether he was inbounds or not is a big deal. We should be able to find out when he putts. And I have to imagine Kenny did cut roll back to the middle and absolutely parked his approach. That's a really good shot with a putter.
way to take advantage of the fortunate result there. Josh looking to the same as Kenny. A little too much hyzer.
But a pretty slow disc, not a big skip from him. Alex, a very similar route.
Taking no time at all.
Yeah, Josh with our only real putt. Just outside the circle.
Almost catches all the chains, but just pushes off the right side.
And at this point, for Josh, that putt doesn't matter too much. I don't believe he would have been able to catch the first and second of the tournament.
And Scott for birdie / par.
Just a bit high on his spin putt.
Scott's putt did matter. Him and Alex are neck and neck right now, and Alex has a tap in. So if that was for bogey, that means they take a 2-stroke swing and swap spots.
Yes, he does convert on his birdie, bringing him to 16 down.
And Scott was out of bounds. That would be a bogey for him. Kenny with a tap in par. And that, with this, concludes our final round.
Yep, congratulations to Chad Sherbert and Chris Downey taking first and second place. We did see Josh did take third place. We did have fourth with Alex and fifth with Scott and sixth with Kenny. So we were all kind of grouped up there with our chase card, but that does conclude the coverage of the 2022 Discraft Big Rip Classic presented by Ledgestone. I want to say thank you and shout out to Michael Munn, the tournament director, for all of his great work putting on a wonderful tournament. All the spotters and volunteers staying out there all day doing a great job. The players, thank you for allowing us to film. Thank you to our catch cam. Thank you to Chandler for filming. Thank you to JC for being here doing commentary. And we hope you enjoyed.